Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Oxford News This Week. Some of the headlines making this newscast: solving the fire department's financial burden, saying goodbye to a beloved pastor, and in our last story, hey, let's take a trip down the M1. Sit back, stay tuned. You're watching Oxford News This Week. The Oxford Village Council was very busy last month voting to approve funding for two projects considering a new waste hauler. The first is nearly $30,000 for engineering design for the crosswalk and sidewalk repair project on Burdick Street. The contract from Rowe Professional Service Company is part of the Oxford DDA's repair project. The cost will cover design, engineering, bid specs, and other costs before construction. Then the council awarded a project for a new double doors for the council chambers exterior entrance. Secure Door LLC will create and install an aluminum automatic door system for just under $12,000. The village council also brought up residential waste hauling once again. The village current garbage contract is up in September, so village manager Joe Medor and village attorney Bob Davis are both hoping to reach out to garbage companies to talk about possibly providing services to the village of Oxford in July, starting in July. Priority Waste bought out the village former manager GFL system. During the transition, residents experienced many problems with their garbage pickup, while on the administrative side, officials had a tough time getting responses from the new Priority Waste. Medor says he would like to reach out to 2 or 3 companies and bring information back to the council as late as February or even March before a formal request will even be proposed. More fire and EMS services are needed around the Oxford area, there's been a greater financial burden on the fire department. Now the township board is proposing a cost recovery ordinance to help regain some of the money lost in the unanimous vote last month. The trustees approved the first reading of the Oxford Township's Fire Department Cost Recovery Ordinance. According to the Township Attorney Brittany Ellis, the ordinance will help give Fire Department more flexibility in recouping some of their costs. The Fire Chief Matt Majestic says the department will be able to bill residents for negligent or even intentional acts as a form of cost recovery. Majestic says he wants people to know that the department is not out to get money from people, but to charge for wrongful acts like breaking the law or violating ordinances on purpose. The fire department could recover costs from companies that do something wrong in the community as well, like DTE not responding to a downed power line. The full proposed ordinance can be viewed in the Oxford Township Board of Trustees January 8th meeting minutes packet or online. All you have to do is go to the website, oxfordtownship.org. The Oxford Community School Board of Education has a brand new president. Their annual election held last month. Former Vice President Amanda McDonough has moved up to the president's position in a unanimous vote. She thanked everyone for their support, says she really looks forward to working with the rest of the board and continuing its positive momentum. She replaces Dr. Aaron Reese, who served on the board since October of 2022. Mike Aldred became board vice president. James Summers retained the position as board secretary, and Mike Whitney was selected as a board treasurer. Finally, the 3 trustees are Shane Gibson, Ann Atchison, and Sarah Beth Camponi. At the most recent board meeting, Superintendent Dr. Tanya Milligan presented some results from the strategic planning sessions that outlined how President Trump's executive order that lifted bans on immigration raids in sensitive places, including schools, might impact Oxford students' community. The district is currently collaborating with the legal teams and local law enforcement officials to understand the requirements and review the district attorney's information to determine if it could be put at anybody's family's risk during these times. Saying goodbye to Reverend Matt Schuler, The lead pastor of Journey Lutheran Church is moving on to the next journey, his journey. For almost a decade, he has been the force for good in the Oxford area, doing everything from ensuring access to the mental health services, enthusiastically supporting local businesses. Oxford says Schuler's first assignment after graduating from the seminary. Beyond his service as a pastor, Schuler was an Oxford Chamber of Commerce board member, M24 task force member, master of ceremonies for the Downtown Scarecrow Fest, and one of the first chaplains for the Oxford Fire Department in the wake of the tragedy. Oxford Fire Department members endure a great deal of emotional conflict and turmoil. Pastor Matt has responded to many tragic events in the community, guiding and helping first responders deal with the aftermath. He is also part of the effort to establish Caring for Oxford, a program that offers direct financial assistance to people who need help paying for mental health services. Schuler says he will miss the people. Most of all, he is also headed to Faith Lutheran Church in Troy after making his last day, which will be coming up. Well, actually did come up. It ended on January 30th. What do famous Detroit Tiger Ty Cobb and the Oxford founder, Oxford's gravel mining industry, have in common? Well, they do have a tie. They're the first two to be honored in Oxford Township's new historical marker program. The program will highlight people, places, structures, and even events that are significant in terms of Oxford history. 16 potential sites and subjects throughout the township have been selected to kick things off. Each site will contain a boulder with a bronze plaque mounted on it. The plaque will include one of the two relief images taken from the village photos of the historical narrative and the QR code. With a QR code, when scanned, the QR code will take the visitors to a web page containing more local historical information and the map depicting where all the markers are or will be placed. All the boulders will be donated by the Oxford's two gravel mining companies, Edward C. Levy Company and Caning Materials. Sarandon Construction will also transport all donated boulders to their respective sites. The Oxford Parks and Rec Department will install the plaques. Township Grants Manager C.J. Carnacchio is currently looking for any type of donation or grants to pay for the boulders, as the cost is over $3,000 a plaque. For more information how you can help out and secure some of the information here in Oxford, send your email to cjcarnacchio@theoxfordtownship.org address. Sounds like a pretty interesting thing. Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed into legislation on school safety bills that were first created after the Oxford tragedy. It took lawmakers more than 3 years to approve the school-related bills, but during a lame duck session in December, the Michigan legislature gave them final approval. Whitmer said the bills are among 19 that are focused on making public schools, homes, and communities safer. The school-related bills require schools to have behavior threat assessments and management teams, to create a new state commission on school safety, also dealing with mental health, and add new rules to ensure schools are able to respond effectively to safety threats. In the news release, Whitmer released that each of the bills builds on her administrative commitment to protecting Michiganders and their entire family. The governor also issued an executive order last month requiring the new School Safety and Mental Health Commission will include a prosecutor and director of the Michigan Department of Lifelong Education Advancement and Potential. With lots of precipitation and snow on the forecast still with us in Michigan, the Department of Education reminds residents of the importance of staying safe. Already, 53 people have actually died this year on Michigan roadways. 176 have been seriously injured. It can take up to 10 times longer to stop a vehicle on a snowy or icy road. So slow down, a lot more room between vehicles ahead. Stay alert for the black ice after a sudden drops in temperatures and in shaded areas. And in case you find yourself stopped on the side of the road, turn on those hazard lights. Stay in the vehicle, call 911 or a roadside service. Finally, you need to stay 200 feet away from about 12 car lengths behind one of the snowplows that are plowing snow away. The new law is critical to ensure snowplow operators have enough space to work efficiently and keep the roads safe. In our Behind the Lens segment this week, we're always happy to bring that to you. Warm wishes for Waterstone. Oxford Middle School art students shared their creativity, kindness with the residents of the Independence Village in Waterstone, under the guidance of teacher Laurel Wilson, students created beautiful hand-drawn artwork from 120 residents. Thank you for bringing smiles and warmth during these cold winter days. Coming up in this newscast, our last story, we're going to simply title it, Let's Take a Trip Down the M1. Up next, Dave Kenny has Auto Talk Science in the News. You're watching Oxford News This Week.
One in every 500 African Americans in the U.S. suffers from sickle cell disease. 1 in 3 African American blood donors is a match for patients with sickle cell. 1 appointment to donate blood with the American Red Cross can help save a life. Will you be that one? Visit redcrossblood.org/ourblood today to schedule an appointment at a location near you.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, BMW's sole electric crossover model in the U.S. will receive a mid-cycle freshening that delivers more power, a longer driving range, and a new grille and headlight design. The 2026 BMW iX starts at $76,325 and arrives in the U.S. stores in the second quarter. The update arrives as the midsize crossover struggles with market traction in the U.S. iX sales tumbled 11% last year to $15,383. The 2026 BMW iX is available in 3 variants. The 402 horsepower xDrive 45 delivers an estimated range of up to 312 miles. It goes from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.9 seconds. The 536 horsepower xDrive 60 gets a 20 horsepower boost over the previous xDrive 50 and has an expected range of up to 340 miles. The vehicle accelerates from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.4 seconds. The top-of-the-line M70 xDrive delivers an expected 302 miles and a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 3.6 seconds. Dual motors combine to push output up to 650 horsepower, 40 horsepower more than its M60 xDrive predecessor. The freshened iX carries forward the model's muscular sport utility design. The signature BMW kidney grille sports a redesigned frame and a new structure of vertical and diagonal lines in its interior. Headlights have been redesigned with vertical elements for daytime running lights and turn indicators. The tailgate extends over the entire rear section without any brakes. The redesigned rear apron features an integrated diffuser element in the M70 xDrive with the optional M Sport package and on other models. The front and rear aprons have a higher proportion of Service's painted body color, delivering a sporty look. The M Sport package adds distinctive air intakes, new M alloy wheels, an M leather steering wheel, and a 2-tone instrument panel with M logo and high-gloss black trim on the center console. The M70 xDrive features a model-specific kidney grille with the M logo. In our next story, it's a recall. Honda Motor Company is recalling over 294,000 vehicles over a software error causing engines to stall, NHTSA said in a report dated January 23rd. The recall covers the 2022 to 25 Acura MDX Type S, 2023 to 25 Honda Pilot, and the 21 to 25 Acura TLX Type S vehicles. A Honda spokesman said an additional almost 17,000 vehicles are being recalled in Canada, along with over 3,000 in Mexico and 1,500 in the Caribbean and Central America. The fuel injection electronic control unit on these vehicles may be at faulty settings, causing the engine to potentially lose power, hesitate, or stall after sudden changes in the throttle opening, NHTSA said. Honda first noticed the issue in December of 2023 when telematics data from affected vehicles suggested an issue. Denso International America, the supplier of the faulty component, first notified Honda of a potential issue in April of 2024. As of January 16th, the automaker has received 674 warranty claims with no reports of injuries or crashes related to the issue, NHTSA documents said. It wasn't clear if any injuries or accidents were reported. The software error can be reprogrammed at any authorized Honda or Acura dealer. Dealers were notified of the recall on January 28th, and owners will be notified by March 17th. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Military families often sacrifice precious time away from loved ones while serving our country. And for those with children, the separation can be especially difficult.
We were worried that with him leaving, that she would lose those connections with her dad.
Some of life's best moments happen between parents, children, and the pages of a good book. United Through Reading provides that connection.
You can watch your mom or dad read a book to you, and it almost feels like they're really there.
We ensure they remain a consistent, meaningful part of their children's lives, no matter the distance.
Just seeing Jacob recognize Daddy again after a long time just melted my heart.
And now, as we're facing greater isolation from our loved ones, United Through Reading is also available to veterans. Learn more about United Through Reading and download our free secure app at unitedthroughreading.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back to Oxford News This Week. Time for some sports. Welcome to this week's Sports Report. We're saying go girls, go. Congratulations to the Oxford competitive cheer team for their dominant performances in the Frozen Fest Invitational. The varsity squad took home a first place in the D1 division, beating out Howell High School. Score there 705.38 to 701.34. Heading to the third round, the Wildcats trailed Howell by nearly 9 points, but battled back with the excellent third round of tumbling and stunting to earn a 11.4 differential and secure the victory. The Oxford JV squad also finished their season besting Utica JV boys by 64.5 points, I should say. Congratulations, Wildcats, on your cheer events, Mardi Gras on Saturday. Also congratulating in Oakland County, we're quite proud of this, Oxford High School varsity bowling team, the girls varsity bowling team. Wildcats have won their third crown in the sport program history. In qualifying rounds, they are trailed South Lyon by 21 pins, finishing second place. Then the totals of the next games determine which teams will advance to the next round. After besting Waterford, Mott, Hazel Park, Walled Lake Northern, the girls' final opponent was number 4 seeded Clarenceville, the Trojans. The Wildcats lost their first game 160 to 143, found themselves 17 pins down. Head coach J.R. Laffner said the girls weren't fazed and proceeded to bowl their best game of the day. Oxford defeated the Trojans 213 to 162 to actually capture the 2025 Oakland County title. Freshman Amelia Von Corning's 225 game and Elena Walt's series of 589 put them on top at 10. The way to go Oxford bowling team. I want to congratulate the Oxford basketball team. They're just doing phenomenal. Both the girls and the boys really doing phenomenal. Undefeated season so far. Again, we're going to have a complete breakdown in our next week's news broadcast. But a lot of these contests that you are hearing about can actually be viewed right here on Oxford Community Television. Check it out on our webpage, or I should say our YouTube page or our broadcast facility. I'll take a break. Our last story today, well, it's very simple. Let's take a trip down the M1. Dave Kenny's got one more segment, and I'll be back to close the news out right here on OCTV.
My son Ian was diagnosed with a brain tumor at the age of 16 months. The outlook was pretty rough. We had no hope until St. Jude rescued us. I mean, they saved him. But then it turned out he had a second cancer. To this date, we are 12 years into this journey, and from day one, we've never once seen a bill. It gave us the peace of mind to know that we're there with our son, and we're gonna beat cancer together. Now, he is doing really, really well. He's alive because of what St. Jude has done. He's here because of the doctors who came before, their blood, their sweat, their tears, of every day being in that hospital, the knowledge that has been accumulated and shared with everyone else around the world. This is how we get rid of this, how we help kids beat cancer all over. It's the future.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. People who had lost their sense of smell after catching COVID-19 partly regained it following the injection of blood cells called platelets into their noses, which could help them to improve their quality of life. Since the beginning of the pandemic, a loss or change to your sense of smell or taste has been considered a common COVID-19 symptom. The SARS-CoV-2 virus enters cells in the nose, causing inflammation that can damage neurons, the cells that detect smells, says Zara Patel at Stanford University in California. But the symptom has become less common with newer variants, she adds. Most people spontaneously regain their sense of smell within a few months, while others recover after receiving a commonly recommended type of therapy called smell training. This involves regularly sniffing different odors such as coffee and lemons. But that training doesn't work for a huge number of people, says Patel. In search of another treatment, Patel and her colleagues turned to a therapy that seems to regenerate a range of tissues, including skin and the cartilage in joints. It involves collecting a person's blood and filtering out plasma, a clear yellow liquid that contains platelets, blood cells that produce regenerative proteins, before injecting this into the infected area. To put it to the test, the team randomly assigned half of 32 people with COVID-19 related smell loss to receive 3 platelet injections over 6 weeks along with their daily smell training. The remaining participants had the same treatment, except the injections were made up of saline. Both groups had an average age of 50. At the start of the study, the researchers found that the participants could identify around 40 odors, such as pineapple and shoe leather. 1 year later, the participants did the same test. Those who received the platelet injections could detect 9 more odors than they could at the start on average. Many patients returned to tell me of their joy in being able to smell special things, their favorite flower, the smell of fresh bread, being able to smell their new baby grandchild, says Patel. The saline group only identified an average of 1 extra smell. It's very encouraging. Most people in the platelet group saw a benefit that would improve their quality of life, says Thomas Hummel at the University of Dresden in Germany. But later studies should confirm the results and pinpoint how long the benefits last, he says. Still, the results have prompted Patel, a clinician, to offer the therapy to people with COVID-19 related smell loss who she treats. Another clinic in the UK plans to roll it out in early February. That's a good thing. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
When a crisis hits, close to home and across the globe, nonprofits are on the front lines, ready to serve.
Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming.
The demand for charitable services has skyrocketed, and nonprofits are rising to meet the needs. Healing, nurturing, rescuing, honoring, protecting, caring, inspiring. The work of philanthropic organizations of all sizes, across all missions, has never been more important. And it's donors and volunteers like you who make all this possible. Thank you. Together, we change the world. The Nonprofit Alliance.
My son Ian was diagnosed with a brain tumor at the age of 16 months. The outlook was pretty rough. We had no hope until St. Jude rescued us. I mean, they saved him. But then it turned out he had a second cancer. To this date, we are 12 years into this journey, and from day one, we've never once seen a bill. It gave us the peace of mind to know that we're there with our son, and we're gonna beat cancer together. Now, he is doing really, really well. He's alive because of what St. Jude has done. He's here because of the doctors who came before, their blood, their sweat, their tears, of every day being in that hospital, the knowledge that has been accumulated and shared with everyone else around the world. This is how we get rid of this, how we help kids beat cancer all over. It's the future.
Welcome back to Oxford News This Week, and I got to be a little self-indulgent on this one. Let's take a trip on the M1. Yes, my parents, Jim and Diane Hughes, both met on Woodward Avenue, M1 for short. They were there in the early part of what we yearly do called Woodward Dream Cruise. They were the actual cruisers. Every weekend, the cars would hit the road. They would use drive-ins as their social media. Mom and Dad met at the totem pole, and later they were engaged at Ted's, one of the many famous places along that corridor. Pictured here are some of the memories of that meeting. The car was actually my dad's, and like everyone else at that time, they were out on the M1 or even Gratiot or other parts of the freeways doing their cruising. Happy 65th anniversary this past week to my mom, Jim and Diane Hughes. Those two are my parents, my friends, and the reason of my great success. Thank you very much, Mom and Dad. I did tell you I had to be self-indulgent on that last story. OCTV can actually be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191, Channel 99 on the AT&T Uverse system. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Amazon Fire Stick, also the Roku app as well. If you have a show idea, maybe you'd like to be part of the community here, feel free to volunteer at OCTV. Give our office a call at 248-628-9658. You can leave a message or ask for Dave. A very special thank you going out to producer, director, Mr. Kyle Snage, news writer who just writes fabulously. Thank you, Allison Miller. Our station manager, Terry Stiles, for everyone here at OCTV. I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week. I do invite you back next time. And again, we will take a look at Oxford News This Week.